Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today I would like to speak with you about wealth, namely the greatest wealth of all. And what I will contend to be the greatest wealth of all may surprise you, because it is an attribute that you have no matter who you are, and an attribute that I have as well. So what is this greatest wealth? It is the fact that one is alive right now. Indeed, being alive is a prerequisite for any other possible kind of value. Anything you can do, anything you can experience, think about, know, remember, is conditional on you being alive at the time you engage in that activity or sensation. Without life, there can be nothing. And indeed, everybody in history who is dead is just as dead as everybody else. John D. Rockefeller is just as dead as a pauper who died on the streets of some inner city yesterday. And if one dies, one will be just as dead as any of them, just as dead as a hunter-gatherer who died 20,000 years ago. So ladies and gentlemen, the fact that we are not dead, the fact that we have the ability to pursue values in life, distinguishes us and puts us on a higher plane of greater opportunity than anyone who is dead. So consider, for instance, what is the purpose of money? Money is not an end in itself. It is a means to an end of improving one's life. If money is used to acquire possessions, what is the purpose of possessions? Again, it's not just to own something for the sake of owning it. It's to own something that one can use to improve one's life. And I think no matter how wealthy one is, no matter how filled with experience one's life has become, if one is on the edge of death, if one is in very ill health, if one is suffering, one would wish to be back at a point in time when one could just feel ordinary, contented, perhaps not feel very much in particular, but be experiencing something. If you, at any point in the future, were in ill health, for instance, you would probably give a lot to be back in this moment where you're just sitting near a computer and watching this video. And if the same happened to me, I would give a lot to be back in this moment when I am standing here and recording this video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am a staunch advocate of indefinite life extension. I believe that through medical science and accelerating technological progress, we may be able to secure and preserve this greatest wealth of all for ourselves. And it's essential that it be for ourselves, not just for future generations, not just for others. It is, I think, important to spread it to all of humankind because of the values, the knowledge, the experience, the uniqueness of each individual. But it's also not much of a consolation if we're not around to experience it, which is why the pursuit of life extension is indeed an urgent and time-sensitive priority. It has to come in time for us. And honestly, from the standpoint of my personal motivations, my personal objectives, if I could wave a magic wand and all of a sudden stabilize all of the attributes of my life right now, just the way I live a typical day, to have it repeat indefinitely, with me, my wife, my cats, all remaining in the same condition as we are right now, all remaining young, all having the same values, the same experiences, the same pursuits that we do now. If I could cement that for all the future, I would do it. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury. We don't have that option to say our lives are pretty good right now, so let's keep them that way. The forces of ruin, the forces of decay, unfortunately continue to gnaw away at each and every one of us. And if we don't do something about the situation we find ourselves in, if we don't do something to resist those forces of ruin, then we will be overcome by them. As Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, the great German philosopher and indeed polymath, Renaissance man, said, "That which moves not forward goes backward." The purpose of progress, the purpose of pursuing new technologies, new methods of doing things, greater efficiencies, is to keep the forces of ruin at bay, to find more effective ways to do that, because right now, with our meager, frail bodies, with our relatively poor understanding of the natural world, with the relative infancy in which our civilization finds itself, we do not have sufficient means to keep the forces of ruin at bay. We do a little better than our ancestors did. We live quite a bit longer. We have more comfortable lives, most of us do, at least, but it's not enough. It's not enough to stave off the fate that ruin has in store for us, unless we start doing a better job, and unless we progress to the point where the rate at which we maintain ourselves and our civilization exceeds the rate at which the forces of ruin eat away at it. So think about this. You have the greatest wealth right now. Your job isn't so much to accumulate wealth for its own sake, but figure out how to preserve what you have. And anything you pursue, anything you accumulate from this point on, should have that goal in mind. And hopefully, our combined efforts will enable us to prolong, at the very least, the period of time in which we enjoy this greatest wealth. Thank you very much.